Good morning, everyone. I have a artist who wants to buy a pen from me, and she said that she wanted something that was smooth. And sometimes that worries me because almost any fountain pen that has a fine nib might seem scratchy to someone that has never used an old pen before, but this particular client has used old pens, so I think she understands or I hope I understand what she means by smooth. Maybe she wants one that's completely noiseless as it runs across the paper. I'm not quite sure. But I picked 4 pens that have a really nice, what I would call smooth, and they can push, you can aim them in almost any direction, and there's no resistance, there's no scratchiness sound, nothing suggests that it doesn't want to be anything but smooth. And so we start out with this Sheaffer from the 50s, and it has a little bit of flex. The woman sent me drawings that she does, and she seems to have a relatively light hand, and doesn't really press down too much with the pens that she has. And so this might be the pen that's most similar to what she already has, but if she likes what she has, here's another one. Okay, put that down. The next one over is a Waterman from the 40s, or maybe even the 50s, and it too has a very smooth nib. It's a little broader, as you can see. It has a slight stub almost quality to it, so the downstroke, if you barely touch the paper, you won't really know the stubbiness of it, I think. I don't think, maybe stub isn't the right word. It makes me want to write as if it did have a stub nib, but I don't think it does. But it's a little bit broader than the Sheaffer. I'll do a little recap in a minute. The next one over is going to be the Venus, and this was sort of the love child of both of these. It has a very nice fine and a relatively nice broad, and it's very smooth. And this might be the one she'd pick, I'm predicting here. Finally, just for diversity, we have a pen that was owned by Virginia Dahlstrom, and it starts off broader than the others, and it goes broader still. So this is good if you like doing really dark drawings, if you like using a lot of ink, and you can get a fine line if you barely touch the paper, but it starts out pretty loud and it gets louder. And none of these pens are wet noodles, because in one communication I had with her, she does not want a wet noodle. But also, wet noodles are harder to draw with than they are to write with, and they are prone to being abused by accident. And so anyway, so a recap shows, we'll make it a little family history, shall we? So here's mother pen. Nice, smooth, not a huge amount of range, but enough to prove that it's a fountain pen making these lines. The daddy pen, and I'm only calling these because they have this love child here. And he's louder, and his fine is a little broader, but similar, just slightly louder, and very smooth. And their child, their love child, is the Venus, and this has the most range of either one of these things. Of all four pens, this has the most range. And finally, the next door neighbor, the Alice Kravitz, looking in at the Stevenses, and all she does is scream for Abner. Abner. Isn't his name Abner Kravitz? And no, it wasn't Alice Kravitz. Was it Alice Kravitz? Mrs. Kravitz. Anyway, Mrs. Kravitz would always look out of her back window as Samantha Stevens was levitating the garden furniture around because she was too goddamn lazy to actually use her muscles. She would just twitch her little nose and blink, and up would go the umbrella, and lemonade would suddenly appear on the table. And anyway, so this is Alice Kravitz, who's under the witness protection program as Virginia Dahlstrom. So those are the pens right now that are for sale to this particular client, and whatever that particular person does not choose, the other ones will be available to you. And this might be how I'll do these little demonstrations, because I like to have a little tiny bit of focus when someone wants something. Rather than showing everyone everything, if I do it like this, where I'm picking 4 pens that I think will make one person happy, chances are these pens will make you, or you over there, not you here, but you over there, or maybe that person over there, happy as well. So, but it's a way that will work well with me, I think. So, wish me luck. Cross your fingers. Bye.